Guys, this is the inbox review of the Italeri SDKFZ 2326 RAD. This vehicle was basically used as a light reconnaissance and interdictor vehicle, but was never really used as a main component of fighting. It was just basically used for reconnaissance and observation ahead of the main squad, as it were. They were mainly used in the earlier part of the war, from the invasion of Poland up into North Africa, and were quite versatile, but they did have a few reliability issues when it came to being deployed in North Africa, and gradually the RAD 8 replaced them. So there you have it. I think they were used as an early mount for Rommel during the Battle of France, I'm not sure. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on with the inbox review. As you can see, the actual illustration is a photograph of the finished kit, which does look quite impressive. And I think this kit is actually a retool as well. But basically, because you've also got illustrations of the resin extra parts that you can see there. And this is a photograph of the assembly of the interior, which looks really rather good. Basically haven't really got any history of the vehicle as such. It just gives you a quick guide as to the standards they've actually brought this kit up to, and then obviously you've got the dimensions there. And if anybody's interested, the kit number is 6445. Okay. When you go to the side of the box, again you've got an illustration of the actual kit. Again, the dimensions. And then you've got some photographs on the top of the box on the side here of the actual assembled kit, which look rather good. Okay. Right, without further ado, let's open the box. See what's inside. Now, I have already taken the kit out of one bag. All the sprues are in one bag, which, to be honest, is not a good thing, because they can get scratched, damaged, etc. And I found that the actual decals in the kit were loose. So, Italeri, if you're watching, take Dragon's example and pack everything separately, especially the decals. Okay, so that way stuff doesn't get damaged. Anyway, rant over. On the side of the box here, you've got a box for all the resin extra detail set parts, as well as the etch brass set. So I'm just going to quickly get them out. And go through those. And then we'll go through the instructions. As you can see here, the level of detail on the resin parts, if I can get the damn thing to focus, is quite amazing, especially with the engine. It's really going to look something. I think what I'm going to do when I actually put the engine in, I'm going to add some wires and basically put a wash in it and weather it up a little bit so that it looks oily and greasy and warm. And then on the bottom here, you've got the floor of the cabining of the interior, and it looks really rather good. So that's something I'm looking forward to. But I will be careful, guys, because I know there are hazards with working with resin. I will be wearing my gloves and I will be wearing a mask, because I don't want to get that stuff down my lungs, I can assure you. So that's that. And then obviously you've got the front panel of the dashboard with all the bezels, etc. on the etched brass. So that'll look quite effective. Okay. Right, put those back in the box. And let's have a look at the instructions rather quickly. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because it is quite a thick sheet and I've got a limited amount of time to do this review. As I say, there's no history of the vehicle as such, so if you want to find out about it, I suggest you look on Wikipedia. Alright. First page, you can see basically is the sprue trees of all the plastic parts of the kit. So if you want to check that everything's there, there you go. And then obviously you've got a guide as to the photo etch parts, and then obviously a guide to all the resin parts. First stage, as you can see, is the assembly of the interior. Okay. Again, on the side here you've got guides as to what resin parts go with what part of the assembly. Again, you got the engine is going to be particularly interesting, and I have the advantage of having the hatches open, so I may well do a diorama with it, somebody sort of maintaining it or such. Again, this is all the interiors you can see here, all nicely locked up with resin parts. Assembly of all the hatches, etc. As you can see here, you've got the option of having all the hatches open, which I may well do. And then obviously you get the shock absorbers and part of the suspension basically onto the lower part of the hull, etc. I'm going to race ahead here because it is quite a thick booklet. And then obviously you get to the stage where you can put all the shock absorbers and back suspension together. Assembly of the rear tyres. Add them to the vehicle, as you can see there. Then it's the assembly of the front suspension, which you add to the vehicle again, along with the mud guards. Okay. And as you can see, you've got the option of keeping the hatch open or closed. Okay. And then add the engine grille, etc. Your tools. Okay, and then as I say, you can have the advantage of having the back open along with the tow bar which holds the spare tyre, and this is how it looks when it's open. Okay, or you can have it closed. Anyway, rushing ahead, you get to the stage where you basically put the rotary roll bar on the top of the vehicle, add the turret, as you can see there, and that's the assembly done. Next stage is all the colour callouts. Basically you've got the option of doing how many versions? About 4 versions from the very early days of the forming of the army in 1937 at the training camp up to the Battle of Poland, which I will probably be doing this version in, and then the Battle of France. You've got 2 options. Again, they're all the same colour, Panzer Grey. As this is depicting a vehicle in the earlier part of the war, specifically the Blitzkrieg. Now let's get on to the interesting part, the parts of the kit. As you can see here, we've got some of the suspension and the actual tyres, very crisply moulded, as you can see. Nicely done, not an ounce of flash anywhere. And then more of the actual drive shafts, etc., of the rear of the vehicle, as you can see there, and obviously the shock absorbers, which are very crisply moulded. Okay, very nicely done. And then you've got the anti-roll bar, which you can see here. Not 1 ounce of flash. I have to say, hats off to you, Italeri. You've really done a really good job with this retool. Not 1 ounce of flash, because I know some of the Italeri kits were known as Flash Kings, as I call them. And obviously got the rear cover for the tyre, which is quite effective. That looked nice with a wash. And then you've got the main drive shaft, which you can see here. Okay, and then you've got the engine grille, which come in nicely for the resin engine, because you can actually see the engine inside. And obviously you've got your tools there. Okay. And then we come on to the upper and lower hulls. I have to say, I love the way they've caught the texture on this. If I can get the damn thing into focus, that is. There you go. Can you see what I mean? Very nice anti-slip surface which you've got on there. Absolutely crisply moulded. Beautiful. And again, you've got the option of having all the hatches open, which I probably will do actually. And there's the lower part of the hull. Very crisply moulded again, as you can see. And obviously you've got this texturing as well. And here's the turret. Very crisply moulded. I like the way they've caught the actual hinge brackets as well around the hatch on the top of the turret there. Very nicely done. Okay, and then last but not least, we've got the decals. They are a little shiny, but I don't think I've ever had any trouble with Italeri decals. I don't know if Cartograph actually do them. They do tend to bed down very, very well indeed. Okay. Right, that is basically the SDKF 232-6 Rad as produced by Italeri. As I say, my only criticism with them is that they've got all the sprues in one bag and that the actual decals are loose. If you can improve on this, guys, it would be brilliant. So please, if you see this video, anybody in marketing at Italeri, would you please pack them away? So all it does is ends up damaging the kit. Anyway, the rant over. That's me done. It looks as though it's going to be a superb kit once it's built. If you need any extra brass, then obviously I would suggest you get some, just to improve the kit a little bit more, make it look a little bit more sharper, as I'm sure there's some aftermarket products out there for it. Other than that, I'm quite looking forward to building quite an unusual subject, particularly as it's something that was featured in the very early stages of the World War II. Anyway, as regards to Tiger, thought I'd let you know, I've actually given it another coat of primer. It's gone down a lot smoother. Just gave it light strokes across the actual main body part. So Mike, if you were concerned about this primer, mate, I was very, very careful when I put it on, so we haven't lost any essential detail. And again, this afternoon I got all the running gear primed as well, so that's where she's at this moment in time. Anyway, that's it for the review on the 6 Rad. Hope you liked it. If you do, subscribe and leave your comments. And until then, happy modelling, get kit crazy, and I'll see you on the next video.